Happy Friday, everyone. It's Invisible Walls, episode 120. Yay! You guys are going to leave me hanging there?
120,
Yay!
What's up? This is what we call an inside joke. It's not really even a joke.
It's not even really inside either. We have some big news, folks. Something you guys have all been waiting for. Yep, Justin, did you not get the email?
Waiting for this news. What is it?
The news is that next week, our good friend, confidant, and comrade and colleague Marcus Beer will be returning to Invisible Walls forever. So we welcome him back with open arms. We hope that you guys will as well. I know he has a lot of fans, a lot of detractors. Either way, hopefully you guys all tune in next week to hear what he has to say. But I am back and back for good, at least for a couple months anyway. So here we got a big show today. We have a special guest coming on to talk to us about Assassin's Creed Brotherhood's beta. It is a girl. And who has been on the show before, I might add, and it's not Jeremy Hoffman.
Who's not a good
Not Princess Leia.
No, I have no idea.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, and here to do it is Patrick Morales.
Who is hoping Ask Creed Bro picks up as the proper shorthand term for Brotherhood.
We also have Brooks, as you've heard already.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Justin as well.
Yo.
And Ryan Stevens, who is also running the audio today, which means it's pretty much guaranteed it's going to sound like total shit.
Yes, thank you. Your enthusiasm and
Vote of confidence.
is greatly felt.
I inspire all of that in my employees.
I used to play with dragonflies all the time as a kid. Didn't you?
No, I used to squash him.
All right, first up, we have this thing that Ryan wrote down. It's called All the News That's Fit to Print, or Fit to Tint.
Yes, because we will skew the news with our horrible opinions and slanderous natures.
That's eyebrow.
Kind of catchy.
It rhymes.
Almost as catchy as On the Hook.
Yeah, let's go around the horn, Shane.
So first up, a new handheld was announced this week, and I think it has to be the worst name for a video game platform I've ever heard.
Gizmodo?
It's worse than that. The Jungle.
Yeah, and who's making it?
Rob Dyrdek. It looks like Rob Dyrdek's making it. It's actually made by Panasonic.
Yeah, the people that brought us the 3D.
Are they still relevant?
You know what? You would
make
think that they might
TVs.
want to reach out to the media beforehand to talk to him so we could actually cover this thing, but we didn't know anything about this until it showed up in Rob Dyrdek's show.
Yeah, they reached out to Rob Dyrdek directly.
Yeah,
So
because
who's the market?
he's a tastemaker in the video game industry, apparently.
So it's a tiny little handheld device with a full keyboard to play MMOs, except it only runs Linux, so you can't play World of Warcraft. But you can play Battlestar Galactica, which is free.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird things going on here.
Basically, it's a cell
Why?
phone that plays cell phone games minus the cell phone.
That's
Why?
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like a pager.
Why?
And if it plays MMOs, it has to have a long battery life, right? It can't just.
Here's the thing, though. They use the
hour?
term MMO very loosely. The only
Oh.
confirmed game for it right now is
Many more
Battlestar
others is
Galactica
how they
Online,
describe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
which is a browser-based game. And I think the idea with the Jungle is that you're meant to play stuff like Farmville and Mafia Wars on it. So it's not like you're playing EverQuest or StarCraft or something like that. You're literally just playing these lo-fi games.
So we already established that you can't use it as a phone. So what
Yeah.
else does it do besides play crappy shareware
Takes up
games?
space.
But it has Twitter.
It has Twitter.
Oh, wow.
You can't do that on your cell phone.
It's got the Twitter.
Yeah.
Maybe
The
it's
Jungle
Is
has
that
it's
it?
really
That's all
cheap.
it does? It plays.
It's
I'm
still a
afraid
little
so.
mysterious
Yeah,
at this
I mean,
point.
It plays social games.
That's
Is it
all we know
Wi-Fi?
so
Does
far.
what does it do?
Well, it has to
I
have
think
Wi-Fi, right?
It's
Supposedly
like
there's a
3G, 4G,
yeah.
yeah.
It has 3G connectivity, local Wi-Fi, I'm assuming, and it has some other stuff like HDMI ports, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, by
it's-
now during this discussion, you've seen the same 10-second video about 8,000 times because they haven't released anything for it whatsoever. So we're kind of in the dark on this thing. Is there any need or reason for this?
No.
So story number 2 in all the news that's fit to tint. Cammy Dunaway
I
left.
regret that.
Cammy Dunaway left Nintendo. Huzzah! Can I get at least like a charity clap there?
Oh, okay.
128.
Apparently, none of you guys
Oh.
ever had to conduct an
No,
interview with
I
this
did,
woman.
I did.
Never had the pleasure.
She's just gonna go skiing a lot, I guess.
Yeah, she's
in-
running
in
amusement
Mexico.
parks, doing PR for amusement
like
parks. That's quite
tiny cities for children. I don't know.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's weird.
It is weird, but she's pretty weird.
Yeah. I guess she's gonna make more money though. I mean, Nintendo's been doing okay.
Well, Nintendo notoriously does not pay very much. If you talk to anyone who's ever worked there, they'll say, looks great on the resume.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Don't they have like a record number of like profit dollars per employees or something like that? So
Profit
weird.
sharing?
Yeah.
No,
I'm
it's
not-
like money.
It's like
per
how much money
employee.
they make versus how much they
it's
pay. They're like,
ridiculous.
It's not
great.
Google.
Yeah.
Maybe they give her shines. Or
Oh, that's right.
something.
There was that figure where for every employee they were
Shine
making
gifts.
like half a
Yeah, yeah,
million
yeah,
dollars
that's
or
what I'm
something,
talking about.
but
Oh.
paying most of them like 20 grand a year.
You cannot release those figures.
Thanks, buddy.
It's gonna piss
Yeah,
people
you
off.
want to discourage employee morale right
Please
there. That'll
continue
do
your
it.
hard work.
But
Wonder who's gonna fill that void.
at this point, does it even matter? I mean, she was pretty inept, and it didn't seem to hurt anything. So, I mean, the good news is we don't have to see her on stage at any more of their press conferences. We don't have to see the fake smile anymore.
More time for Reggie.
I won't have to get that awkward glance to the side when I ask her a real question in an interview again. Won't miss that. I won't miss being told I have to talk to her again after I. Anyway.
But she's a great person other than all that.
Yeah.
We wish her the best.
Yeah, she actually is a very nice person. I think legitimately she's a nice person. I think she maybe was a fish out of water in the gaming industry, and maybe Nintendo put her in places that she maybe shouldn't have gone. But Godspeed and good luck to you, Cammy. Hopefully amusement parks work out a lot better than Nintendo did.
But if you choose to fight, stand with me against the Borgia.
I am tired of hiding in the shadows. I will join you.
All right, so next we're going to talk about something that I think I quite honestly had to talk you guys into at one point or another. I think our Best of E3 awards, I really had to lobby to get this game nominated, and it ultimately won, and that's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the multiplayer component. I think it's a lot more than we had anticipated. Now that it's out in a beta, as Marcus likes to say, and you guys have all had a chance to play it, was I crazy? Do you guys agree?
No, you're definitely not crazy. I've had a lot of fun with it too.
And speaking of which, we do have Megan Rue on the show today,
Hello.
a crowd favorite who also loves Assassin's Creed more than life itself.
Just a little.
That's not even an understatement.
It's
true.
not.
Yeah.
I think that. Is it safe to say that's your favorite franchise?
I think it is. It's among my favorite franchise. It's right up there with Mass Effect, but I think clearly Assassin's Creed wins if anyone sees my cubicle, which is littered with.
Yeah. She also
with our-
dressed as Altair one year for
Yeah.
Halloween, had a great
Yeah.
costume.
Now we're gonna have to show that.
Oh God.
She
There we go.
refused to break character at certain points, which
I-
disturbed me a little bit, but... What do you think, Meg? You're a huge fan.
I love it. I love the beta. I've had some serious time with it, and I'm posting and I'm reading the forums, and it's. I was just like everyone else when they announced it that I was a little worried. I'm like, why that it doesn't need it, and it's great. It's new. It's different. It's just it's balanced, but it's not because it's a beta. But it's definitely it's definitely interesting, and it's a lot of fun, and it's all about who you're playing with, really.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Why do you feel that way?
well, the
I guess there's
mechanics.
different ways to play the game.
There's
you know?
there's different. You know, you either choose to play it where you're in stealth mode, you know, and you're blending with the crowd and you're taking your time and you're making the kills really worth it, or you're the other person who's running at full speed through the entire map, you know, high pursuit, everything, and making kills from afar with a gun. And
Those are
and-
the people with ADD though. They just can't not. Do
They have
that.
no patience.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, I can't just sit still. I
But
can't.
when
That
you
takes
get
the tension out of it, though, right? That's what I really liked about it.
it takes the tension out of it, and it if you have one or two of those people in the match with you, it can get really frustrating because right now, like, they'll end up in first and second place because they'll be getting kills more often as opposed to the people who are taking their time, and the people who are taking their time will still get like 500 600 points, but in the time it took them to get those 500 600 points, the person who's running around gets 800.
So they haven't balanced it enough so that you get enough points for playing the game the way it's intended. They're giving too many points to the people who are just running around.
Currently, yes, but it's already gotten a little bit better since the pre-beta and the actual beta.
So they've adjusted the scoring already.
A little bit. They've adjusted the punishment, really. And they've
You
adjusted.
should lose cool points for being a
Style
dick and
points.
breaking your RP.
Oh,
At
limit.
the end of each round, they should have like a douchebag vote. And the person who gets the most votes like loses some points.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's already
Well,
suggested.
probably
somewhere.
99% of the time, that would be the person in first. It's like, oh, fuck that guy. Beating me like that? How dare you?
Now, does something like this put this game over the top as far as like Game of the Year consideration? Because Assassin's Creed has always been in the discussion, and it generally has a pretty long campaign. But I think a lot of times when we have those Game of the Year discussions, that we're always like, well,
What else
we
is to
played this
offer?
game for the last 3 months in a row because the multiplayer is awesome. We loved this game, but we were done with it after a few days. Do you guys think this bumps it up in consideration?
Completely. Completely.
Well, I
mean,
guess the big question remains is what else is there, right? We've played
well,
the one mode.
There's just the one mode, Wanted, and then there's one that's going to come out called Alliance with another map that's being tied to a community. They're saying it's like a community achievement. So whether that's, I don't know, we have so many kills between all of us or however it is, but once it's released, Alliance is 3 teams of assassins, and you have a group of targets that you have to go after. And you get more points based upon whether you do multiple kills in a row or like 2 guys are chasing one guy, which makes him run into the third guy.
Now, what about dual kills? That would be pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean by?
Like
oh,
team
you
up
mean like
kills.
the?
One guy stabs him in the kidney, the other guy stabs him in the throat.
I don't know. That
Fucking
that could
Julius
be cool.
Caesar.
Yeah.
Oh my god, another guy.
I don't know, but it's like those are just 2. There's going to be tons more. There's already 8 characters playable in the beta, and there's 2 more that are already going to be playable, like just from announcements between the Harlequin, which is the pre-order, and the Footpad, which got announced on Monday. So
It'll be interesting to see how many characters they fit in there, because obviously they need to make sure that the crowd is comprised of those people so you can use them as camouflage. So I'm guessing there's probably some kind of a limit there with the technical limitations of the systems, that they can only have so many character models as a part of the game. So now, what do you guys feel about the sort of uniqueness of it? Because I felt like I hadn't really played anything like it before. Have you guys ever experienced anything like that multiplayer mode?
I think it's a pretty cool reworking of the single player, because Assassin's Creed itself, is a intensely unique game.
Sure.
I give them props for trying to work in the multiplayer setting, but at the same time, like Megan says, it's good as the people you're playing with. All too often when I was playing last night, I just ran into a bunch of power gamers, curiously from Alabama, some Alabama assassins. Yeah.
Alabama assassins.
Yeah.
Did you mute or?
I tried to, but
Alabama.
What is the point of voice communications in that? I mean, it's just so people can just be morons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Well, you're
terms
not
of
really
in terms of
communicating useful
Wanted,
information, it's kind of just
yeah.
One
It's,
guy's like, "Oh, I was killing so many people the other day from the rooftops. They call me the ninja."
yeah.
It's like, "Go, good for you, buddy."
Yeah, I wish we recorded some of it. There's some good lines in there.
yeah, for Wanted, it's just more social, and I've had some good times where I'll actually be playing with people who are not, being rude, and they'll just be like, "Oh, I'm coming after you," and I'm like, "Thanks for letting me know. I'll see you coming around the corner." It's, and they'll swear if you beat them out or if they get you. It can be fun, but it's all about who you're playing with and who's got a microphone that doesn't suck.
Well, the one
it's a
mechanic
PS3.
we're having problems with, and I've seen this with everybody, is the stun mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
When your pursuer's on you, and you have like that split second to just do what you can to get away from them.
Defend yourself.
No
everybody's-
counter kills there, right? You
No.
cannot counter kill the person trying to assassinate.
No, you can
Which
either.
would be
stun 'em.
freaking sweet.
Well, that would be like a death match if you could kill all human players.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
mean,
a
it's
different
kinda-
mode.
You
it's
make the
kinda-
timing window very slight, and you have to be really on your time.
Well, and that's what it is
Yeah.
with stun right now. Stun
Yeah.
gives you the opportunity to either, you stun them, they lose their contract, you gain points for having called them out for not being stealthy enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the argument, that's a huge argument on the forums right now. It's like, oh, I can't defend myself. Your choices are either to stun them or run away. But it's the whole point of Wanted mode. You are the prey and you are hunting. You can't have the ability as the prey to kill your hunter.
And I mean, the game's really kind of built on that asymmetry. You can't. You're assigned to kill someone, and someone else is assigned to kill you. So, I don't know.
How do you guys feel about the fact that the AI cannot run on the rooftops? I mean, obviously,
Frustrating.
That's a dead giveaway. They know that you're a human player as soon as they see you on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Megan was mentioning one of the maps is like there's more action on the rooftops, and it's just like a little too obvious
Rome.
what's happening
Rome,
and who's a human character. And,
I mean, there's little things like in terms of the other map, Castel, Gandolfo, I think I'm saying it. But there are certain giveaways that there's really, I don't think they have a way of workaround. In terms of human players are the only people that'll go through the break doors, which are trigger points where if you're running through them, they'll close behind you. That causes the person pursuing you to go around, to take another route. But in terms of the roof, it's like, I don't know if they can program AI to go up there, but
I mean, sure they can. They do it in a single-player game, right?
but they're standing still as opposed to moving around in terms of the guards. So I don't know if it's something they can do or not, but it's definitely frustrating because most of the times, like we captured last night where we went up on the roof and there's 5 of them and it's just one person kills one person who kills the other person who kills the other, and it becomes a death pile up on the roof and no one's on the ground. So I don't know if there's ways to fix that or if that's just how that map is always going to be.
Next, we're going to continue our Beta Mania with discussion about the Dead Space 2 beta. And here to talk about that is Brooks Huber.
Oh yeah, the multiplayer beta for Dead Space 2. No one else had a chance, huh?
They only sent us one code, the stingy cocks.
Listen, everybody. I played.
Well, but you also went to the event.
Yeah, we need
yeah.
more codes.
Was there anything more? Is the beta the same thing you saw at the event, or you see anything else?
Up at the event, they did actually let us play through the map that's in the beta now, which is actually called the Titan Mines. And then towards the end of the event, they announced the second map, but it's not there in the beta, and we haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Okay.
Here's what I don't get about Dead Space 2. In Dead Space 1, you use your mining tools to kill because you're a miner and you're kind of put in a weird situation. Why then, in the sequel, are you still using the mining tools? Wouldn't they have by then given you, like, actual weapons you use
They
to
just worked
fight
out
things
so
with?
well the first time. They're like, this fucking kills things
It
dead.
makes no sense.
That's why the name of this map is the Titan Mines, and the whole story behind it, or what you're doing as the humans, or you are a group of miners trying to construct a shock mine.
We
to
weren't
eradicate-
expecting real answers.
eradicate the necromorphs. So that's the whole mechanic behind this multiplayer beta. It plays out similarly. You could argue that it's a lot like Left 4 Dead 2.
Left 4 Dead Space.
So
You're taking the chance.
Yeah.
Of,
Think I've heard that 100
take
times.
turns being the necromorphs, and then the
Okay.
next round you're going to be the humans, and the humans have the ultimate goal of going through the mines, going to these computer stations, activating them, putting these pieces together, station by station. And by the end, you activate that shock mine to clear out the area. And
So it's objective based for humans and
Objective-based,
just kill the motherfucking humans as the necromorphs.
Necromorphs. You spawn much quicker as a necromorph. You have
It's a wide variety of necromorphs as far as what they can do, because there's some that can crawl on the ceiling and the wall. And
you got the spitter, the lurker, and the pack. And like you said, there's 3 of them. So it's not as varied as like the Gears of War, for example.
Well, it is a beta. So
I heard they're only going to have 4 in the end.
Really?
That's it. Yeah. You got the tall, lanky one, which is the spitter, and he has a projectile. And then the lurker is that little ugly baby thing with the tentacles
Yeah.
that could walk all around the walls. So he's kind of cool, but man, you
how
get
hard
hit
is it
by
to
one
control the
bullet,
vomit?
doesn't he shoot stuff too? The one
He
with
does.
the
He has
tentacles?
a triple
Yeah,
shot,
yeah.
which is much more powerful than I thought. The vomit?
Yeah.
The vomit is just a single press. It's not
Right, but I'm
it's a
saying
controlled
aiming
burst.
the vomit.
It's
Never
it's just
thought
like
I'd ever
shoot-
say that in my life. But
It's just
Well,
like
it's like
shooting
the
a gun.
boomer, right? In Left 4 Dead.
Boomer has like a continuous vomit to him, doesn't he?
this is just a burst of vomit.
Oh yeah, no, it's this is
It's like a vomit.
this guy's got some range on his vomit. He could go a good like 50,
burst
100
shot.
yards.
It's
like
yeah.
that's
like when I
that's
eat
some
shellfish.
Put
vomit.
in a neatly compressed shell.
You might call it projectile vomiting.
It's almost a bullet
You're
of
vomiting
vomit.
projectiles.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then the pack is the weird demented baby with the long fingers, and that guy just jumps on top of you and just starts ripping you apart. So
That's
the death sequences
basically
are
the
so
hunter,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which
Is
is the
there
most
an-
fun to play as.
I personally like the pack, which is that little baby thing with the claw hands, because once you get on somebody, it's just fun to lash at them and try to tear them apart.
So what happens to you as a necromorph when you get your limbs dismembered? Can you still keep on going?
Yeah, you can.
That's kinda
If
cool.
you're the triple shot guy, the lurker, and you lose your limbs, you basically lose your ability to do anything. That guy's pretty worthless without his range.
Do you die when you lose all 4 limbs, or any limbs that help you like propel yourself?
Yo, I
or
haven't
can you
been
just
put-
lay there as a bloody stub
As a
and,
necromorph,
and barf on
Vomiting in
people?
the
as a
The Black
necromorph, I
Knight
haven't been
from
put in
Monty
that
Python.
position. But as playing as the humans, I've actually disabled their legs, and they're on the ground. And I think they're dead, and next thing you know, they start crawling.
They
at
can
me.
crawl then.
Yeah, and that's where you do the ground pound and get rid of them.
But they're still. Can they still attack while they're crawling?
Well, yeah, they could still. That would suck to be a necromorph and be like totally disabled on the ground, crawling inch by inch, trying to get to your kill.
Using your chin.
Does it seem like one side has an advantage, or is it still too early to say?
It's when
seems
you
like
are
a
the
much smaller
necromorphs, it's
beta.
just like almost like a spam fest. It's really the strategy is to just kill as fast as you can. As the humans, that control and being able to formulate a strategy is really important. And without people communicating or anything, it's no fun.
Yeah, you definitely die really fast as a necromorph.
It's not a
right?
death
Like if you're
match,
the baby
yeah.
and you jump on a dude, it's like you have a few seconds of
Then you're
tearing
gonna
apart
die.
and you go get.
They
know,
want you to continually
killed, yeah.
respawn as the necromorphs. They don't want you to try to last for a long time.
Is it still like the humans? Like I'm thinking a lot like Left 4 Dead. Is it
Humans?
still more like they have to stick together? If a
Yeah.
necromorph, a one-on-one fight, the necromorph's gonna totally disable the human.
No,
sort of thing?
it's human will always win out,
how-
regardless, because
then-
they have the
then
ability
what-
to regenerate health. They have the stasis where they
But
can
so-
freeze them in
But
time.
if like in Left 4 Dead, if the survivor gets you in his sights, the bullets will destroy as an infected easily, except for like the tank.
Yeah.
But if you're able to like what's the sniper guy, the Tong guy called, the Lasher? Smoker.
Yeah.
You know, the smoker, if the smoker one-on-one someone,
Yeah.
they just totally incapacitate them. I mean, is
Right.
there So what's the real necromorph advantage? Is it just the
you do want to
numbers are
stick to the
skewed?
shadows. If you do have somebody that has a projectile, you want to stay away and just do what you can to like hit them from afar, because no matter what, they have a really good range.
If the humans die, do they respawn too?
Yeah.
So it sounds like the necromorphs
But the humans
are
are all
at a huge
timed.
disadvantage.
Yeah, the humans are timed. They have like approximately 45 seconds to activate that first beacon.
Oh,
and
so
then
it's
they have
super
another
frantic.
45. Yeah, so it's like
Okay.
you got to keep moving. You got to formulate a strategy. You got to keep going as a human.
Lose one beacon, lose the round.
Yeah, if you fail to activate the first beacon or the first computer to start formulating that shock mine, then necromorphs could win within like a minute or two. But then you have to go deeper into the cave and further in, and the necromorphs could spawn from so many different locations. You have the ability to spawn where you want to.
Did they make
all
the
these
game,
intertwined tunnel kind of activations?
Is the game any quicker? Because I mean, Dead Space definitely felt like a single player game. I mean, Isaac was
He's
not
pretty
like he was
slow
not
and
super slow,
plodding,
but he was he was a slow, meticulous sort of dude.
Yeah, the map isn't
Bro.
all that big. It's actually really confined, and you move pretty damn quick, especially as a necromorphs. Those guys are fast.
Speaking of speed, something that they keep mentioning time and time again about Dead Space 2 is that you get different armors to kind of play around with, like different weights of armors. Does that factor in at all to multiplayer?
That hasn't even had I haven't even seen that in the beta yet. It's pretty much locked down at this point. There's only 3 weapons, and it's 2 of the weapons we've already seen and used so much is a pulse and the plasma. And then they introduced the javelin gun, which I don't remember from the first game. That's just a single shot.
All the humans look the same?
They all look pretty much identical except for armor color.
Annoying leveling.
There is a level system in tow. Nothing like what we've seen in Assassin's Creed beta, where you could physically like get new weapons as you go on. It's going to be in there, but it's not in the beta right now. It's actually closed off.
Is it fun?
Yeah.
I was having a hard time getting a match today, so I'll just let you guess on that. Not a lot of people are playing it right now because of that one map, and you could get your fix after just a few tries.
Besides the really tense moments in single player where you have those kind of like crescendo moments where you just fend off a bunch of necromorphs, is there any multiplayer mode that you've noticed that kind of emulates the kind of creepy, like slow moments of Dead Space?
Definitely
or is
not,
that
no.
just pretty much straight up deathmatch?
It's just this mode, and that's it. I would like to see them implement some kind of like horde mode or something where you do work together against like the computer and have more of those scary moments, or you're taking out big bosses together. But right now it's just a slugfest to see who's going to get that kill first.
Just like Ask Creed Bro.
Yes.
the safe room,
I
people.
feel terrible.
Oh, some cover me. I'm healing.
I have an equally brilliantly titled section called The Discussion.
With an uppercase D.
That means we can market it and we can sell it.
The discussion.
Of course, no sponsors will touch this show, so we don't have to worry about that. So,
I got this name from that Igor company that names things.
so the discussion is just a general topic about video games that we try to dive deeper into and bubble up insight to the top.
I like that bubble up. That's
For
a good
people
image.
like you who need hard-hitting information. Today's topic is, what do we want to see from multiplayer?
And coming off these betas, which aren't, traditional betas, called traditional, it's not traditional deathmatch, team deathmatch, VIP. This is uneven, what was the word you used, Justin? Asymmetric.
Yes.
There's some asymmetric stuff going on here. And I mean, we've been seeing this, I think, like Gears is horde mode, and ODST's, what was it called? Firefight.
Well, there's multiplayer in everything now, except for NBA Jam for the Wii.
Oh.
Well, certain games,
We
they
just
like
played
to focus
4-player.
on the single player.
Who does that?
We needed it for the review.
I can't remember the last time I had 4 people in my living room playing games at once. That was like Rock Band in like 10 months ago or more.
But I don't know. I think we are seeing like people branch out more in multiplayer.
Well, there's the
Well, we've had some
cooperative,
successful
competitive
experiments, right?
angle that everyone's playing now, and a
Yeah.
lot of it's more cooperative. Now we see like the firefight and the horde mode. That's pretty much a given now.
Well,
in
yeah,
every
horde
game.
mode was huge, just like
Well, now it is
super big
huge.
success.
Every single
And now
shooter
everyone's
has
It's becoming standard. Yeah.
Firefight is horde mode and everything,
I mean, co-op's interesting too because you look at like something like Splinter Cell, which had Deniable Ops, which was totally a multiplayer, totally a co-op only mode. There's no AI there at all. I think everyone who's played Modern Warfare 2 knows Spec Ops is pretty much no fun. It's not nowhere near as much fun solo.
Well, it depends on how addicted you get to the game, because John Smith loved playing it by himself, but he's good enough that he could play it by
He's
himself.
an antisocial guy, too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But
Just
he also
kidding.
played with a bunch of friends too, though.
Yeah. I think in general where multiplayer is going is gambling and wagering. I think we're already seeing it with Black Ops, with the wager mode. Virgin Gaming just launched, its big gambling site that's, basically sanctioned by publishers like EA and Ubisoft. It's completely secure.
But still, isn't it like not legal in like a third of the states or something like that?
No, it's completely legal
in all the states.
Because it's not a game of chance; it's a game of skill, and that's how they've kind of skirted around any gambling laws. Is that it's technically a game of skill, so you can put money down on games of skill. It's not games of chance.
There was a Canadian company that was doing this too, and they were like, "Yeah, there's still a bunch of states they still couldn't do it in."
No, apparently, according to Virgin Gaming, anyway, they're cleared in all 50 states. I think that's where it's going, like putting your money where your mouth is.
That sounds unfortunate.
Why?
I don't know, man.
It's intense when you put...
you wouldn't put any money on co-op, though. I mean, that's like a totally separate,
But I think in general, that's going to be the overarching theme for multiplayer gaming going forward. I mean, even going back to the Super Nintendo days, the NES days, putting $5 on a game of PGA golf or whatever. I mean, it intensifies
I think that's a very vocal amount of people, but I think it's still probably a minority. People that are
but I mean, we're talking about a huge sort of shift for multiplayer. What's it going to be?
So you're thinking it'll be just right in the menu,
right? Okay. I think eventually you're going to see, as public opinion, sort of shifts about gambling, and everyone starts to feel okay with it, and they're like, oh my God, Richard Branson from Virgin's behind it. It must be okay. I think it's going to become much more high profile. I think people are going to feel like it's all right to do it, and I think it intensifies the competition.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that, but I also see that as kind of like a step removed from actually modes and stuff like that, the actual mechanics of how things work. I guess the Black Ops wager mode definitely factors more into that because it feeds back into how you play the game, but I don't really know if real money would do it. But then again, if you want to talk whatchamacallit, Lord of the Rings just went free, and D&D Online went free, and there's a ton of those free MMOs, but now we have ones of like a higher caliber of quality. And there are, you drink the potion to get the +3 stat points, or you earn experience faster and stuff like that, which is always a sticky subject.
Well, if you look at it, like competitive gaming, how many networks have tried to make competitive gaming work? How many competitive gaming leagues have there been?
Well, I just saw giant billboards for, what was it, Major League Gaming? Yeah, I think they're World League of Game. I don't know. I don't really follow it. Yeah.
People keep dumping money into it, but it's pretty much a black hole. I think the gambling element, where it's just you with your machine, someone else with their machine, I think that's where you're going to see that whole landscape shifting. Because honestly, do you want notoriety, or do you want to make $100,000 playing games professionally?
I just want to have fun.
Well, that kind of goes hand in hand with playing video games. That's the given, right?
That's true. Well, yeah.
Not lately.
I don't think I would be.
Not October, November.
I don't think I would put money on the Quantum Theory multiplayer I had done earlier, even though I was coming out on top.
But Virgin...
You're also swearing a lot.
I mean...
Me? That's the last boss. That's unrelated.
Virgin's doing it the right way. They're bubbling up like the really good players, so that it creates this prestige with the leaderboards and the guys who are winning all the money. It creates this aura of this person who you want to topple. So I think ultimately 10 years down the road, where will be the major multiplayer changes? I think 10 years from now, that's where I think it'll be going.
I think everything will be like Demon's Souls.
That's what I want to hear. But no, but I don't know.
People are just randomly dropping into what you perceive as a single-player game.
Well, and just more clever ways of integrating like an online multiplayer component with the game world and the way the single player works and with the mythology of things. It's just, I think there are a lot of cool opportunities.
People are definitely single-player and multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, the Test Drive back in the
Test Drive Unlimited. You mean with the persistent world?
Yeah. Was the first one called Unlimited?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But I think persistence is definitely a big thing, and people are already tracking giant stats. Like even Megan was talking about that beta is tracking some hidden statistic. Mm-hmm. But then is the whole idea especially when you have things.
You saw the Mass Effect statistics too, right?
Yeah, but that didn't really factor into too much.
No, but I
mean,
but
yeah, they're tracking all that stuff.
They're doing it.
And Call of Duty does that as well. But factoring, you do have DLC. You have people expending DLC with multiplayer maps and single player campaigns. It's becoming more and more popular for people to do both. I think there could be just like we're seeing kind of like co-op is we're kind of seeing co-op kind of splinter off into its own thing, so they can actually fine tune it and make it better with co-op campaigns and whatnot. But I could see that eventually kind of boiling to a point in actually getting mixed all back in, where something like competitive, cooperative, and single player is kind of all the same coin. I
think what else you might see is that multiplayer gaming, and this is actually where the jungle kind of comes in, is making multiplayer gaming portable. Now it's kind of something where you have to be tethered with your Ethernet cable, or you have to have a good wireless connection. You know, a lot of laptops that can play high-end games, their batteries last like 2 or 3 hours before they're dead. I think you're going to see a push towards making these games that we're used to sitting on our couch playing multiplayer, be able to play those other places.
How about you? What's your name? Monkey. Monkey. Monkey.
All right, and lastly, we're going to talk about Ubi Days. Now, usually this is a huge event full of blockbuster games. We already talked about Assassin's Creed. Well, actually, we didn't talk about what you saw of Assassin's Creed.
We can't.
And
Talked
we
about
can't.
the beta, the single player forthcoming.
We are under embargo over that stuff, but there are some other games you can speak about. Now, Beyond Good and Evil HD, where the hell is the real Beyond Good and Evil?
You mean the sequel?
Yeah.
No sign of it at the event, but what we did see was, as you mentioned, the HD remake, I
Are
guess you
they
could call it.
answering questions about where the sequel is?
Actually, no one from the development staff of either the original game or the reported sequel, what have you, was there, so I couldn't ask anyone. But we could play the first game again in much prettier 1080p.
How much is it going to sell for?
They didn't release a date or a price for it yet, but what I do know is that it's the original game, redone in HD 1080p. They're adding leaderboards, and that's pretty much all I know so far.
I mean, that is kind of encouraging. I think, this is probably, they're releasing this so people get reacclimated with the franchise. So it probably is a pretty encouraging sign that the sequel is indeed coming.
Yeah, and
maybe not that far off.
Yeah, and to be fair, it looks pretty good. You could obviously tell that it was originally a last gen game.
Yeah, I
but
think the polygonally.
Yeah,
not even a word.
Polygonally speaking,
the geometry, I guess.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty good the way they've treated it. So it should be a pretty nice looking game.
Maybe they're testing it out.
And it is a great game. If anyone out there has not played the game and you don't have the ability to go back and play it on one of your old systems, highly, highly recommended.
Yeah, just don't sweat it if you miss some black pearls, because then they'll drop like 40 on you.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah, definitely a solid game.
And what else did you get to check out?
I guess
Dust.
The biggest game there, yes, as Justin said, was From Dust, which is the game from Eric Chauhy, who some may know did Out of This World. And basically, for those that don't know, it's a God game, much like Populous and Black and White, maybe mixed in with a little bit of Lemmings. The premise is that you kind of play this omni-powerful figure who can manipulate the land in a matter of ways, and you basically don't interact with the villagers in this world directly, but you get to kind of shape the world around them to kind of help them survive a little bit better. And I guess the cool thing about it is that just the extent to which you can kind of mix elements and manipulate the world to kind of come up with all these unpredictable outcomes. The demo I've shown in particular, the village, there's a seaside village, and there's a huge tsunami kind of coming in this huge swell. So what you had to do was guide one villager towards a ritual grounds where that villager would then learn how to do a spell to kind of divert the water. Now, the cool thing about it is that first, the ritual grounds in the village were separated by huge land masses and like a huge kind of like a pool of water. So what the demo person did was he built this man-made bridge, dirt and rocks and like
God-made bridge, maybe.
God-made bridge, yeah, sorry. He made this bridge to kind of help the villager walk across, but he was running out of time because the tsunami was heading back to the village. So to kind of expedite the returning trip, he took a bunch of water, carved a river heading towards the bridge, and kind of swept the villager down like really, really fast. So there's kind of like a bunch of like weird little things you could do there. You can grab lava and then pour it over a forest to kind of set it ablaze, create flames. You can combine lava and water and kind of make this kind of molten rock to shape around as you will. There's a bunch of like cool things like that, and it's just the ways that you can manipulate the world has a bunch of kind of neat things to it. Besides that, they also had another downloadable game called Outland, which looked really cool. Imagine Ikaruga, that old shooter with the black and white element, put in the context of a platformer. So it's
dude with a stick. and you flip your
Does
black
not
and white
compute.
onto,
Yeah, it's really weird to watch the video.
It's
but
hard
it
to
looks really
explain.
enticing.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it has a really neat look, and the combat seems pretty solid. It's a platformer kind of action 2D game. It's really nice. People should check it out.
Where you absorb some bullet hell.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Side-scrolling bullet hell.
Yeah. Really, really odd.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for a wild and wacky episode 128. 128. of Invisible Walls here on GameTrailers.com. See comments all the time. Some of you guys request an audio version of the show. We, in fact, do post an audio-only version of the show, an MP3 file. You can get the MP3 from the show page, so if you just want to check out the audio version, you can get it there. Also, please subscribe to us on iTunes. That's definitely the easiest way to get it. It's painless. You'll get it delivered to you automatically every week. Also, be sure to go on there and rate us and berate us, whatever you want to do. Any comments are appreciated. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Invisible Walls is up and out.